A museum must be more than a mirror to the past. It must point the way that we are to ascend. So I challenge you to do this, to serve your complex public, laymen and scholars alike, as a link between the past and the future. And it is your duty to be a very strong link.
That was the voice of Joseph V. Noble, the former president of the American Alliance of Museums in 1970 at the dedication of the Krannert Pavilion, the first galleries built in this extraordinary landscape. Good morning. I'm grateful to see so many museum members, partners, and friends here today. I'm Charles Venable, the Melvin and Brent Simon Director and CEO. On behalf of our Board of Governors and our wonderful staff, I am pleased to welcome you to this morning's announcement. Joseph Noble was a pioneering museum leader who broadened our knowledge of antiquity and changed the way museums engage with the issues of our time. So it is fitting that we once again take up his challenge to deepen our understanding of the lessons of the past and fully commit ourselves to the future of this community. Like Indianapolis, this is a place to engage in a diverse array of experiences, unlike anywhere else in Indiana. We use this campus every day to enjoy concerts and movies, discover sublime artists like Rembrandt and Turner, James Turrell and Maya Lin. We stroll the garden amongst trees bursting with color, learn about our shared history, find solace and respite, or simply gather with friends over a beer or a glass of wine. That is why we are taking the step to do something we have never done before, to name this campus, where art and nature are on equal footing. This October, we will unite our diverse elements: the Indianapolis Museum of Art, Lilly House, the Garden, the Virginia B. Fairbanks Art and Nature Park, and our performance spaces into a holistic cultural campus called Newfields, a place for nature and the arts. The name is rooted in our history and guides our aspirations for the future. 50 years ago, Ruth Lilly and Josiah K. Lilly III donated their parents' estate, Oldfields, to what was then known as the Art Association of Indianapolis. That salient and selflessly generous gift, which included Newfield, the home they both lived in as young adults, was a pivotal moment for our community's history and a catalyst that forever changed the trajectory of this organization. The vision was for a cultural campus where art and nature could be fused into a unique place where the community could gather, recharge, and reflect. It has taken 50 years since that original vision, 50 years of passionate and open-hearted philanthropy, 50 years of marshaling the resources, physical, financial, and intellectual, to fuse these elements together. Inspired by the past, the name Newfields is also a commitment to the future, a challenge to ourselves, to be a place forever moving forward where our community can explore new fields of study, new fields of inquiry, and new experiences. I should be clear, however, the names of the places we all love are not going away. This building and its magnificent galleries will still be the Indianapolis Museum of Art at Newfields. Lilly House will continue to serve as a primary attraction at Newfields, as will the Garden. The Virginia B. Fairbanks Art and Nature Park will remain. And the Miller House and Garden will continue to extend our campus into southern Indiana. Simply, all the wonderful venues around our 152-acre campus are now at Newfields, a cultural park unlike anywhere else. With a newly unified campus, we will extend a broader invitation to our community, as we have been doing, albeit on a smaller scale for the last 2 years, with experiments like the Orchids installation in Lilly House and the Madeline F. Elder greenhouses and the companion exhibition of watercolors of orchids in the main galleries. Or as we did with 2 different takes on Indiana's bicentennial recently, with mini golf and the 19 Stars of Indiana art exhibition. This spring was the first large-scale experiment that explored the potential of a truly integrated campus-wide seasonal celebration. Guests immersed themselves in a sea of 250,000 blooms in the most spectacular outdoor exhibition we've ever produced. Inside the galleries, guests explored the timeless way that nature inspires through the works of 3 powerful artists. We knew that there was nowhere else in our state where guests could experience the work of the great artist of our time and of all time, and explore the most beautifully curated gardens in Indianapolis. We did not know, however, how our community would respond. I am pleased today and very, very proud to share with you that we increased attendance 72% over the previous spring. Just as positive, we diversified our audience and welcomed thousands of guests who do not normally visit the museum. Over half our guests were between the ages of 18 and 44, and the largest group was between 25 and 34 years of age, levels unheard of at art museums in this country today. Ethnic diversity was also significantly higher. The magical part, of course, was the way that all kinds of guests, regardless of age or ethnicity or passion for gardens or art or frankly beer, came together for one common experience with their fellow citizens. We promise to continue that effort to invite a wider audience every season. We are committed to the 5 following tenets. Active participation is integral to the experience. Give guests something tangible to walk away with. Create cross-pollinated experiences across art and nature. Connect food and drink to the subject matter of the experience. And promote connection and movement throughout the campus. In addition to spring, we have just completed, thanks to the generosity of supporters like you and the Lilly Endowment in particular, 2 years of exhaustive research and experimentation that has transformed our ambitions about this place. While the vision was created 50 years ago, the strategy came into focus in 2015 when the Board of Governors approved a 10-year plan and re-emphasized the refined mission statement that we are fundamentally about people, about our community. Later that year, we received a very generous $10 million gift from the Lilly Endowment to create an endowed innovation fund, the first of its kind amongst art museums. The fund allowed us to complete 7 deeply insightful research studies to better understand the needs of our community, including our donors, as well as members of our community that were not engaged with our mission and not availing themselves of this wonderful place. The Innovation Fund also provided seed money for experimental programming like Spring Blooms. Learning from the past 2 years helped to shape the Newfields identity, which was developed by the Indianapolis-based agency Young and Larimore. The logo, a sculptural N in 3 dimensions, is designed to showcase the wide range of experiences offered at Newfields. This logo serves as a prism through which to view these experiences, to promote connection and movement throughout the campus, to encourage active participation, and to integrate food and drink. As you can see here, Newfields can reflect art, nature, performance. This fall, we will inaugurate the campus name with 3 exhibitions that open a dialogue about the role of art in the cultural life of a city. City as Canvas, an exhibition developed in collaboration with the Museum of the City of New York, opens to members on October 5th. The exhibition traces the work of graffiti artists from the streets of New York to the major museum galleries today. Opening celebrations include a family day, conservations with some of the artists, and a performance in the Toby by a leading hip-hop pioneer. I am confident that this is what Joseph Noble meant in 1970 when he challenged museums around the country to be more than a mirror to the past. You may have seen our photography team out on the streets of our city this summer, capturing portraits of Indianapolis residents for our new exhibition, Portraits of Our City. Collaborating with several community partners from Ivy Tech and Indigo to Downtown Indy and WFYI, the team photographed about 450 residents from all corners of our city. The subjects were photographed as they pondered the answer to a single question: where would you like to wake up tomorrow? As you move through the gallery when the show opens and take in these portraits of our city, the soundtrack will play the voices answering that question. Also this fall, we will launch Director's Choice Gifts of 2017, an exhibition that will highlight a sampling of the wonderful works of art that have entered our collection over the past year. Our intention is to make this an annual holiday tradition, showcasing the gifts of art made by our community to our community. Speaking of holiday traditions, we are tapping into the magic of the season like never before. 46 years ago, we celebrated Christmas at the museum. That event evolved into the beloved Christmas at Lilly House and our annual winter solstice celebration. Now we're expanding our celebration to include a season-long, dazzling holiday lights experience. We're grateful to the community's response and generous support, including a gift from Marianne Williams Tobias to make sure we could bring music to this new holiday tradition. To tell you a bit more about the winter wonderland that we are creating, please welcome Jonathan Wright, the Ruth Lilly Deputy Director for Horticulture and Natural Resources, to the podium.
Thank you, Charles. I'm so excited to share Winter Lights with you. This holiday, Newfields invites you and your family to walk in a winter wonderland, an illuminated garden lit by over 1 million lights. Like our spring installation, we expect Winter Lights to be an immersive, multi-sensory experience where you can be just as comfortable bringing grandmom and the kids as you would a romantic date. Also like spring, this is an outdoor strolling experience where you can take your drink, in this case, hot cocoa or spiced cider, spiked if you like. To bring Winter Lights to life, we partnered with Trey Fromey, who helped create the holiday lights shows at Longwood Gardens, Atlanta Botanical Garden, and Cheekwood Botanical Garden and Museum. We've studied the best light shows at home and abroad to bring the best to Indy, creating a show that is brilliant and rooted in who we are. Our plan is to wow you before you even enter the campus. When you enter at 38th Street, you'll be greeted by a fanciful gateway of light. Classic colors of the season draw you in, while whimsical frames wrapped in lights give the effect of winter winds swirling across the driveway. These forms were inspired by scrollwork on the original ironwork gates found on the Woodstock Bridge, the very bridge over which you enter the garden from the galleries. These scrolls have inspired much of the design you'll see, and you'll see them repeat throughout the show, making Winter Lights a unique experience that can only happen at Newfields. When you first glimpse the crystal grove of glittering trees, as you hovering magically overhead as you enter the Ephraimson family entrance pavilion and hear the iconic music of the season, you'll know you've arrived somewhere very special. You're drawn into the experience by exuberant and colorful floral displays. We fully expect an enthusiastic response to this exhibition, so rather than have long queues waiting out in the cold, we've planned the poinsettia path to greet you as you make your way through the lower level and into the garden. As you enter the garden, you're surrounded in lights and drawn into the experience further by the sound of something familiar. As you turn the corner, you're drawn to the bridge where the sky is full of glowing snowflakes, again, floating magically overhead. Here, too, custom crafted forms were inspired by the gates you'll enter. Tall lanterns made of laser-cut panels will glow and cast those same scrollwork patterns onto the path in front of you. Once you're on the other side of the bridge, you'll find yourself in the frosted forest, where towering trees are glowing with mini lights to their tips over 80 feet in the air. This highlights our magnificent century-old specimen trees as only we can do. From the frosted forest, the sound of familiar music draws you ahead. As you reach the Grand Allée in front of Lilly House, a landscape of light unfolds before you. Inspired by classical parterres found in French gardens, ours is entirely handcrafted from steel frames wrapped in mini lights. Here, you'll be treated to a choreographed show of light and music that will have to be seen to be believed. Imagine hundreds of thousands of lights dancing to the Nutcracker Suite. The landscape of light can be viewed from all sides, and the pattern jumps over the path in a few places, so you're literally immersed in the dancing light. Inside Lilly House, we will welcome you, as Mrs. Lilly would, through the front doors to come in, warm up, toward the historic home filled with magnificent floral displays from our greenhouse team. When you exit the Lilly House, one wanders back past the landscape of light to find a path lined with wood-burning fire bowls, bars, places where you can make your own s'mores, and this leads you on to the whimsical terrace. This area was originally called the Playhouse by the Lilly family. So leaving behind the sort of traditional classical color scheme and color palette of red, white, and green, this zone of the exhibition takes a decidedly playful tone. Here, colors will be vibrant and saturated in jewel tones. Aquamarine, blues, magenta, green, and gold lights all bring this area to life. All of these colors are also found on Playtime in Indy, a wonderful work by Carl Unisch that we featured in the garden the last 2 years. This year, it moves to a new location to anchor this area of the garden and inspire the color palette. Also in this area, the whimsy trees will take their cues from the colors of Playtime in Indy, transforming some massive specimen trees, in this case oaks and ash, into magical willows with the use of magnificent color morphing curtains of light. From here, moody theatrical lighting leads you towards the exit where I think we'll keep a few tricks up our sleeve for the moment. Thank you so much for coming in to join us today, and I hope to see all of you in November when we open the doors to Winter Lights. Tickets will be available online starting in October when we launch our brand new website, but I'm going to give you a tip to buy early. We expect really enthusiastic response for what we're confident is going to become the new holiday tradition here in Indianapolis. Thanks.
I hope you all do turn out for Winter Lights. You'll see the chief elf, Jonathan, as well as the 2,000 other elves that seemingly work at the IMA every day over the last year and a half, scouting all over the world to create a winter wonderland here. As Jonathan mentioned, in October, we will debut a new website, which we've made in our spare time. And this will be the address, discovernewfields.org. Till then, please follow us on our current website at imamuseum.org. We look forward to welcome you all this fall to Newfields, a place where we curate memorable experiences. Those experiences could be life-changing, or they might just be good for a laugh. They could be on the calendar for months, or they could be spur of the moment, indoors or out. These experiences might be the connection drawn between a great work of art and an enchanted collector. Wildlife just outside the museum walls, an impromptu concert, or a simple stroll through the gardens with friends and a glass of something cold. There's simply nowhere else in Indiana that can put it all together into a single experience the way we do. Welcome to Newfields, a place for nature and the arts.